Hi everyone, this is Chantal with Shakar Bakery. Long time no see. Today I'm here to share my highly coveted sugar cookie recipe with all of you. I've shared this recipe with many of my followers, but for some reason, it just doesn't work out for you guys. So I decided it's time to make a step-by-step video and crossing my fingers that you guys are highly successful with the sugar cookies. If you follow my recipe and run into any issues, please leave a comment below. I do respond to my comments, so if you have questions, go ahead and ask. And if you are successful, go ahead and share your success with us also in the comments below. All right, are you ready to start? Let's go have a Merry Christmas. So let's start with the ingredients. You have 1 cup softened butter, 1 tablespoon of your extract of choice. I am using vanilla. 3/4 cups of sugar. You could use a sugar alternative. It does change the chemistry a little bit. 1 egg. 3 cups flour, sifted if possible. All right, so now that you have the ingredients, let's get started. So to make my sugar cookies, I use my KitchenAid, and that is the attachment you are going to use. If you don't have a KitchenAid, it doesn't matter. You can use any hand mixer, or even, mix by hand. If you don't have an electric one, you just need to put in more muscle work. All right, so the first step is the most important one. So let's get started with that one. You're going to start by creaming the butter. This is actually the most important step in this entire process. So go ahead and dump your butter in there. All right, you're going to begin mixing slowly and then cream it. The next step is adding the sugar. This is the second most important step in the process. You need to really mix the butter and sugar until they are very fluffy. So I'm going to start on low and gradually increase to medium. Now we're going to scrape the sides, add the egg, and continue mixing. I'm going to use my handy dandy finger scraper. I've had this guy for years. And just scrape down the sides. Sorry for the shaky camera. I don't have my usual mounts. Okay, so next, it's not the best job, but you know what? The purpose of these videos is to show you that it doesn't have to be perfect. You still get the same outcome. All right. So now we're going to add the egg and the extract of choice that you selected. I'm going with vanilla. and continue mixing. Now, if you're making a single batch like I am in this video, you'll notice that most of it stays on the bottom. Don't worry about it. What I do is I use the first cup of flour to bring it together, mix that thoroughly, and then gradually add the 2 cups. So let's do that. So I went ahead and I scraped the sides of my bowl and I added about 1 cup of the 3 of flour. And we're gonna start mixing on low speed and gradually increase to medium. And the purpose of this step is to bring it all together before we add the remainder of the flour to create our dough. Okay, so now you're gonna scrape the sides and add your 2nd cup. So here I scraped the sides of the bowl, added my 2nd cup, and we commence again. As you can see, the dough is coming together. It's not as creamy. This is a perfect stage. So now you're gonna add the remainder of your flour, and there's gonna reach a point where the mixer is no longer going to help you. You're going to have to mix by hand. At this stage, make sure you are starting with low setting unless you want flour all over your kitchen. So my entire flour is now added. I'm gonna start on low. If you made it to this point and you're panicking because your cookie dough looks all lumpy, it's fine. Keep mixing. Okay. So there's going to come a point where your mixer is going to start resisting. That's where you turn things off. And the remainder is where you do it by hand. So I'm scraping the sides and I'm going to wash my hands and get ready for some fun cookie making. Okay. I want to show you the test. so that you can check whether your cookie dough has been made properly. So with clean hands, you're going to scoop up a dough, you're going to grab it with your fingers, and you're going to try to shape it. If it holds its shape, then your cookie batter is correct. Congratulations. If it's too creamy, it means that you did not put enough flour into your mix. Go ahead and add a little bit at a time, maybe a tablespoon. You don't want to overflour your cookie dough. If it's too hard, then I don't think you did your liquids properly. So let me know what issues you run into. It should beautifully hold any shape. And my cookie dough does not need to be chilled before you cook it. It holds its shape beautifully. Okay, so here's my cookie dough ready to get rolled. I roll directly on my mat. I cut out my shapes. I scrape off the excess, put it back in the bowl, and keep rolling here. You can roll however you want, but I'm just going to show you. I obviously can't roll while filming, but see how beautifully I'm just going to cut out a random shape just to show you how it cuts. And this is how you know your cookie dough is correct. Look, it doesn't move. It's perfectly firm and ready to go in the oven, which, by the way, you will be baking at, you can do this two ways. You can do it at 325 degrees for about 15 minutes. I do it at 350. That was my oven preheating in the background. So you don't want them to be brown in the oven. That means you overbake them. You want to remove them from the oven while they're still a little bit soft, and they continue baking as they cool down. So take a look at your cookies about 12 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes is really, for a thickness like this, 15 minutes is appropriate. But the thinner your cookie, the less time in the oven. All right? So I'm going to roll out my cookies and show you the end results. Okay, so they're fresh out of the oven. I mark them because they have to go in order. So with a spatula, you want to carefully scoop it off and move it to a cooling board. The nice part is with sugar cookies, when they're still warm, if any pieces break off, just quickly touch them and they'll actually harden into place. So as you can see, my sugar cookie recipe is pretty dope. Nice stiff cookies. The shape didn't warp. I could place them practically touching each other on the cookie sheet. This one's being stubborn. But you do want to move them off of the baking board because they do continue baking as they cool. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this recipe. And I'm going to assemble my cookies now.